Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. Yeah, we all like that part. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh, is that our introduction? Oh, it must have been. We hear everyone calling for us. Oh my. Whoa, down girl, get out of here. And the horse you rode in on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome nuns and all. That's right, priests, preachers, cardinals, rabbis, bishops, individuals out there just looking for something free. Welcome to the show. That's right. You might be saying, I accidentally clicked on this. We all make mistakes, many of which come to haunt people and things of that nature. That's why we take it upon ourselves, okay, on pretty much every occasion and occurrence that we can, okay. Now, we've missed it once, maybe twice, okay, but we're not perfect, okay. We seek forgiveness of our sins the same as anyone else would, seek anyone they've transgressed against, forgive them, maybe forget, depending on what it is, okay. Point is that we like to take it upon ourselves to regularly, of course, apologize for what we've done in the past. So, pertaining to this, obviously, we want to apologize for our last stream. So, sorry about that. All right, excellent. So, now that we can look past any of the errors of our ways past, it's like a fresh blanketed start. You might be saying, no, it's not. Well, for us it is, because, let's be honest, when you call being Daryl Dixon dibs, okay, best of the worst internet celebrity there is, we call dibs on it, Daryl Dixon dibs. Can't argue with it. We're the best of the worst internet celebrity there gets to be. Okay? Yeah. Like it or hate it, doesn't matter. See, the thing about it is that the reward and payoff is exactly what you think it's supposed to be. That's right. You might think it has many perks and accolades and things of that nature that come with it, but no, it does not. Okay? It's not something we celebrate. I mean, it'd be great if it came with perks or financial incentives. Obviously. But with great Daryl Dixon dibs is on being best of the worst internet celebrities there is, comes great responsibility to deliver a bunch of free crap. You're welcome. So, obviously, it's because of these reasons and because of that we offer, that of what's on the IPFS for you to have your own merry ways with, should you be choosing to embark on the Wild Wild West aspects and components of what the Web3 has to offer on the future horizons and endeavors and things of that nature, but we offer it nonetheless, and that's just how we kind of go from there. But as we were thinking to ourselves, it's Tuesday. That's right, something to celebrate. The week has begun, if your week begins on Monday. Not everyone's does. Some people's does not. Okay? Maybe Tuesday's your weekend, okay? Maybe Tuesday is your regular run-of-the-mill work day. It doesn't matter. No matter where it falls on the, occurrence in your weekly schedule, as long as you're getting your full amount of downtime you can afford for yourself, I reckon that's probably just A-okay. That's right. So, as we sit back and we try and expand that of what we offer, okay, try and present fun working demos and games and things of that nature on the IPFS site and everything, we think to ourselves, with, in essence, the, only limitations, okay, being that of whatever we pursue financially and or, thoughtfully, okay, because, we can come up with some crazy ideas that are pretty awesome to make into games and stuff like that. That's right. But eventually, they might start running along the same lines. That's right. We don't want that. That's why it's better to collaborate, okay, with everyone who likes to participate and take fun. That's right. Without the touching base, without the, reaching out via email or friending us on the sky that is the blue or X of X, right, which we don't go to all too often because we don't pay for subscripification to pretty much anything because we don't want to. That's right. When we go to X or Bluesky or anything like that, it is an alternative way to, touch base and stuff like that. Aside from that, the live streams that we'll always keep, of course, completely free, come hand in hand with updates on what, we now embark upon and things of that nature. So, with it being Tuesday, with the week being underway, with us not necessarily having much to necessarily go forward with and do that's of need to the site or anything like that, because no one has any more outstanding work orders. We made our last buddies games and things of that nature. They asked us to, based on the books he put out. What do we got there? Teresa Scary Poems for Kids, Capybara Creek. Okay, now our buddy, we did these books with him. He wanted a game. Okay, he wanted a game to tie in to that of what he's done and put out. Oh, we do got to fix that Teresa Scary Poems for Kids game, because I think it's broken on either PC or mobile. We don't know which one. So if you're playing it on one of those, sorry about that. It's on the site. There's other games. You can play those instead. Capybara Creek's pretty okay. Once you get to the third tier, and the enemies start showing up regularly, it's more fun. Okay? We could probably tweak the first level or two, but it's to get you acquainted with the game, and we don't feel like it. As an independent researcher, as a solo developer and creator and things of that nature, with the exception of what you yourselves provide back to us, obviously, in the form of your ideas and sharings and things of that nature, which you do on a very nicely occasion help us and aid us in doing such. So without of which we wouldn't have the iDone update on the music player with the dancing figures that get interacted with on regular basis on whoever's coming through on the theme corresponding to what you chose or choose. Inevitably, it's just good old-fashioned fun. So when our buddy told us, like, hey, I want a game tie-in for my nieces and nephews. I want an ability to do that of which the big companies haven't afforded us the opportunity to. We're like, yeah, no problem. We'll make that for you. And we did. So, super fantastic. But as those projects have, yes, there's outstanding little things and stuff like that, but, the project's kind of done. All right, we're not necessarily pushing everyone to go to the IPFS site to go play Capybara Creek. You can, the game's on there, or you can go to Amazon and get the book. Either way, it helps the channel in one way, shape, or form, okay? And on top of that, you don't need to partake in any of it to even go and hang out on the site or anything like that, because it has everything else on it. That's right. The LimeWire-inspired music player, the alternative games, the alternative scientific working demos, Swarm Mesh demo, all that stuff or whatever. It's fun to play around with. Open up, our site twice, open the Swarm, demo and watch it connect to itself, okay? It's viable. It's working. Yep. You just get some company to roll that bad boy out on a big hosting apparatus scale, and you're good to go. You laugh. Be pretty stellar for that company. Have a constant IPFS up like that, Web3 decentralized. You can just do whatever you want to with it, really. It's amazing not being under an NDA or working for a mega company or corporation. Well, we haven't gotten any emails from all those people who say they recruit people, right? No one wants to recruit you. Fair enough. Yes, have your laugh. No one has to recruit us, Internet, because we are part of you. That's right. We work for you, Internet. We don't work for the big companies and corporations because right now we're independent. That's right. So as we're laying the foundation, literally building the platforms that are in working order and things of that nature, all right, someone's going to have to go back and either redo the work themselves, or we already did it. So you just take that code and make it better, obviously. The point is that with having the ability to day of make a massive turnaround, to day of be able to disseminate it, okay, within mere hours if we desire, or within mere days, weeks, months if we want, okay? The ability to be able to get that out unto whoever wants to partake in it is the entire future of what Web3 offers. Now, it is some fascinating stuff to think about when you start thinking of how Web3 will, in essence, just be a highlight and showcase inevitably once it starts being utilized to the full working capacity that it can, okay? Obviously, hypothetically and theoretically, this is all for philosophical entertainment, as that of which must be and necessitates. But as it comes down to it, and as, individuals start migrating towards that of the future, should they choose to, or maybe they want to stay in the ecosystems they are privy to and aware of. Maybe they want to constantly have more and more entropy and more heat out of necessitation and things of that nature that they must address. Maybe they want more and more data centers, theoretically, to house and store their information instead of putting a pause, putting a stop, and laying a new foundational groundwork with which to, build up from, okay? Web3 is not only, accessible, but as more and more become privy to it and aware of it and this, that, the other, it's just a matter of time before any of these bigger companies that get a good little slice of the, cryptographic pie decide to, utilize that of which and, the direction they want to go. The ability for everyone to house their own, way of being a node or a cog in the machine, all right, that they choose to be a node or a cog therein, all right, is phenomenal. Web3 technology is going to single-handedly, once utilized efficiently and appropriately across the board, it's going to so much usurp all of the safeguardings, and not even safeguardings, but the gatekeepings that are held on computational, components and aspects. The major holds that were always on that technologies and infrastructures and dynamics and things like that, theoretically, hypothetically, are out in the public now. All of that stuff's been out and going on ever since about the last couple good few years, all right? As, programmers and developers and everyone who's learned to code and make stuff or whatever, because believe you me, we are not the only ones out there creating content and such like that. Obviously there are umpteenth people out there in the field and profession itself, okay? And just like everything else, when that's the big thing, when that's the moniker of fame and fortune and success, that is what everyone wants to chase, okay? Computer sciences were big once upon a time or whatever. Now, if you look at, theoretically where it sits on desired studies and colleges and things of that nature, maybe not as high as, it was for coding and such like that just years before. Sure, maybe to a degree under the same, umbrella of departments or fields or studies or practices, this, that, the other thereof. Doesn't matter. Either way, the shift in just sheer computer science to, that of coding and infrastructure and things of that nature, is monumental in itself. It's the same divergence in any field of study. It's just the only problem is that these fields never reconverge, all right, on the other end. They go about their own stuff and never reconnect on, the other aspects and components that other fields of studies have picked up on. That's why that of our works, when we do a universal bridge and have it in working order and auditable on Kaggle and things of that nature, we present it for anyone, okay, to go back behind us and check the math, go back behind us, check the science, all right? Feel free to. That of which we did exists, okay? That of which we did is available now, currently, as it sits, okay? You can go check it out, okay? On top of that, we're open and forthcoming with any and all of our code, okay? Now, sorry, we have a couple notebooks now that are not open, okay? Because now, Daddy's working on proprietary. Now, you might be saying, "Oh, shucks, I thought you said everything's going to be for free." Well, yes, everything is for free, and believe you me, we've released everything. That's right. Any foundational utilizations thereof, it's Apache 2.0. Go to town, everybody, okay? Now, just because we created the code that we're using to do stuff with, everyone's going to have different abilities with that of thereof, okay? Anyone can use it. It's available. Who's going to use it better and or best, okay, is what it comes down to. Inherently, individuals that understand far more than we do, because we're on the basic tier level, okay, of all of the types, okay, of all of the stratuses, okay, on all of the different components and aspects. You got your R, you got your Python, you got your CSS, you got all that, okay? We don't excel in necessarily any of it, okay? Now, what we're pretty good at doing is using all of it, okay? So when we create stuff, all right, we like to pull and pick and choose and, you know, algorithmically create our own code and, you know, kind of source guides and parameters and things of that nature that we give freely to anyone who chooses to, you know, take it upon themselves to use, all right, because math is open. Math is free for everyone, okay? We didn't create or invent the math, all right? The math exists, okay? You can be fairly dogmatic in knowing that you can assume math exists, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, okay? It's one of those universal languages, okay, that universally applies, all right? Now, anyone can go and read Pythagoras like we did, okay? That's right. Now, some works are a little askewed. Some works might be missing in pieces or quantities thereof. Some might be hard to track down. Some might be, you know, completely gone or obliterated to the you know, essence of history that is in and of itself. Obviously, if that's the case, then we probably missed out on those as well. Anyone can go and read these documents, these books, these scrolls, these texts, these notes, okay? These journals, all right? These photographic witnesses and mechanical witnesses and physical evidences, okay? Anyone can go and view it and check it out, this, that, the other, okay? What do you do then when you do check it out, when you do view it, when you do go through it, and when you do start making everything that you wish to, you know, create that of therewith, right? What's left? You sit on a Tuesday and you kind of wonder, you know, what component and aspect, all right, is worth diving into and worth opening up source code wise that isn't worth holding on to for proprietary reasonings and financial securities and things of that nature, and or maybe just security stuff in itself as well, all right? We wouldn't blanketedly put any kind of AI up on the system that inherently, you know, would be not beneficial, okay, to that of the beneficial gains of humanity and sentience alike. Because good old Shyzabox loves everyone and everything, right? We are made of matter. We're all of matter. Everything's matter. So everything matters. Okay? Laugh all you want. Doesn't matter. Even ideas, okay, can be that of physical. Okay? Ooh. Sounds crazy, right? But even ideas are that of physical, correct? No. When you create them, when you bring them to fruition, all right, when you present them forward, and when they become working artifacts, then they absolutely are. Okay? For someone to ask if, and we've said it a couple times now on a couple different streams, and obviously we don't want to sound like a broken record more than we most likely already do on a variety of things. But when you stream on a fairly regular basis, as of late we do, because it fits in the lines with the scheduling, as you sit and, kind of regurgitate that of what's been done, what's in the works, what is being, doing, and then you end up getting, introductions and introduced to new individuals, new folks on a regular basis and such that grace you with their presence, or hang out for a minute, or come and chat it up for a sec, or hell, maybe even hit the subscribification. You never know. Everyone makes mistakes. It doesn't matter. No, it does matter. You don't want to make mistakes. Trust me. You can trust me. I'm the best of the worst internet celebrity there is. Point is, when you call Daryl Dixon dibs, and you sit back, and you think, don't tell me, Tuesday, are you really thinking of the fact that it's Tuesday, and it correlates and aligns, or are you quoting Star Trek Generations? It's a movie, Next Generation crew, but there's a time when Captain Kirk graced his presence on that of the departure of a ship in Generations. It might have been the Enterprise. Probably was. We don't remember. We haven't seen it in a while. But believe you me, while it might be Tuesday, okay, while we might have outstanding updates that we need to do to fix components and aspects of things like games that we've made, or components that don't work on mobile for the game, or PC, whichever one it is, we don't even remember. We got to redo that, okay? We got to touch base, we got to fix that, and we got to prioritize doing some of that stuff. So that's going to be our new focus. We're going to put a pause, in essence, and kind of a stop on the creation, unless someone emails us a specific thing, okay, or unless, someone asks in the chat for a specific thing, or reaches out via Bluesky X, anything like that. Unless someone asks for a specific, tool or creation or update of sorts, or, addition there to one of the demos or forms that we already got, we'll probably put that stuff on hold, all right? Now, and we'll start making those little tweaks and updates to make what we have better, okay? And as we have, knocked out a couple of these little placeholders and things like that, theoretically, the only other thing that we may move around is we'll add, the Joey's Trash now to the arcade and make a new Joey's Trash, okay? Now, Joey's Trash probably from, our initial ideas, unless someone else, says to the contrary, or has an idea thereof that sounds better. And it'll probably be more screensaver-esque, okay? It'll probably be more kind of just laid back, something that you just go on, it's just something to look at for a minute or so, and or leave if you wanted to, okay? That's our goal with that in the long run, so we'll start looking into that, but we really do, we think, necessitate to ourselves the component of following that of our own advice, okay? Not letting our ego as a creator or a coder or anything like that get in our way, okay? or become a stumbling block, okay? We got to keep that in check, because, anyone can do that of what we do, okay? That's right. With a credit to, the source that be, right, that one can follow in their own personal realm and stratosphere and lives, okay, now as a philosopher, again, all for philosophical entertainment, okay, we like to bridge that of the gaps, all right, between a variety of things. So, theologically, all right, as a philosopher, we feel it incumbent upon ourselves to tie into, all parameters, components, aspects thereof, the ideas and the structures and the components that tend to create or make or can, become that of a more balanced, available representation of what it represents, okay? Now, might be a little confusing, but we want the demos to be of working order. We want the games to be fun and of working order. So, we need to take our own advice, put a pause, all right, on that of our branching out and doing more and more and more. And we need to start fine-tuning that of what we've done and created with what is and is and is and is, okay? Because as we, reflect and think about it and stuff, got a couple outstanding bugs and Joeys in the code. That's right. You might be saying to yourself, if it's from Joey, it's a Noe. Believe you me, that's true. But, to think of the breakdown in the code itself for Teresa's scary poems for kids and things of that nature, to think of the components of the game that don't work on when it's been so long now or whatever, not even that long really, but a good while since we've touched base with it or even played it or anything, because we've been doing all these other things. But we remember and we know that we got some bugs in the code to this, some Joeys that reared their heads, okay? That's right. So for Teresa's Scary Poems for Kids, the game or whatever on the site, obviously our buddy don't care and such, we gave him something that he wouldn't have got in, a good while, unless randomly, someone starts picking up his books and stuff like that, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we want to make your play into a theater production or into a movie or whatever, right? It happens for folks and individuals. We'd be ecstatic for them, right? It'd be fantastic. He'd be sitting there reaping all the benefits of us getting his name out there with the game that we made for him. No. He would show love on the back end because we showed love to him, okay? When you work together collaboratively, when you're able to create things with the community, all right, it's a amazing experience, all right, when that has payoff. Now, something like the upside of some major network reaching out to our buddy, wanting to make his book into a movie or a Broadway musical play or act or theater, whatever. Hey, good for him. That would be fantastic, and we couldn't imagine a bigger upside that could theoretically come from any of his endeavors and works pertaining to that, right? That would be the top of the top. Okay? If you got someone making a screenplay or a play, with characters and scenes and settings and stuff like that, then in essence, those get picked up all the time, even not good ones. Now, we're not saying our buddies isn't good. We love Capybara Creek, okay? Now, there is some reviews that have come in on it of individuals that are a little perplexed, I guess is the best way to say it. Okay? Because they followed what is a weave, all right, that we witnessed our buddy put together when he explained it to us, okay? We witnessed a literal weaving, all right, of components of infrastructure that is just kind of it's interesting, okay? Capybara Creek, all right, has the trifilar components of dynamics you wouldn't think, all right? And the way that our buddy wrote this one, okay, the way that he put it together, the way that he wanted to create it into, that of what it is very, very, very interesting as well, okay? Because he does things that haven't been done before, okay? He merges a couple components, all right, of narration and acting to degrees that are unequatable to pretty much other components and aspects of theater, okay? Now, theoretically, hypothetically, obviously, we don't know. We haven't read every screenplay or seen every work or anything like that, and we know it's our buddy, so we speak highly of that, of what it is, okay? The point is that with these components and aspects and things of that nature, all right, of what is offered and what is brought forward and forth into the table, everything that is, a derivative thereof that is available for individuals to, entertain the usages therewith or anything like that, any working order, way, shape, or form, then the ability to appreciate it, right, raises all the more, okay? The ability to enjoy a story, all right, that our buddy wrote, and then go play a game, all right, that's based on it, okay? And not an exact representation thereof, obviously, okay? It's based on the book by, okay? But our buddy wrote a book, and he wanted a game, so we made it happen for him. His nieces and nephews love it. And it's on the IPFS site, okay? It's a working artifact that literally exists. And now our buddy can go to his little book readings or his little, promotional endeavors and things of that, self-published as well, all right? He can go take it upon himself to go do whatever therewith, okay? That's right. With it being Tuesday, with us, in essence, like we said, are we saying it's Tuesday? Is it starting Tuesday? Or, in the quoting of Star Trek Generations, is it a Tuesday to come? Okay? Don't tell me Tuesday. Okay? Tuesday is that of a time frame to elicit a joke in that movie. Okay? When you think of how it was utilized, all right, though, in the interworkings and connectedness, okay, with the script itself, talking about the movie with Whoopi Goldberg and the Nexus and this, that, the other, and other people in it too, not just Whoopi Goldberg, right? But you remember, she was Guinan. Yep, worked in 10 Forward on the Enterprise itself, right? That's right. A lot of people don't equate, a lot of Whoopi Goldberg's careers, to everything that she's really taken on and done, from, what is it, the old school Jumpin' Jack Flash and stuff like that. Was that the correct title? It might be, it might not be. But yeah, from Sister Act and all that stuff, Whoopi Goldberg did a bunch of stuff. So when she was Guinan and working in 10 Forward on the Enterprise and Star Trek The Next Generation, and we end up quoting Star Trek Generations, eventually a correlation there too arises and develops, right? But as we said, with Tuesday being a representation, all right, in the movie itself of a time frame and things of that nature, and Tuesday being the day of and a day to be, you can unilaterally make it, fairly entertaining to the reader or to the viewer or anything like that when you're doing those little time manipulation, movies or scripts or ideas. Makes it fun. Having those working things, okay, to showcase the writing in it then becomes very, very well-grounded and people appreciate it. Okay? That's right. Ends up being a good movie for those it's a good movie for. Some people might say it sucks. Okay? That's fine. You don't have to like Star Trek. You don't have to like the movie Star Trek Generations based on a TV show, based on a whole entity created, Gene Roddenberry, okay, back in the day. You don't have to. Point is that it exists and it's a visual representation for anyone who wants to embark on it. So when we're creating the stuff that, is to come on Tuesday, or that we release on Tuesday, as we have on the IPFS now, the crossbow schematic historical teaching learning tool, okay? You might be saying, like, why is there a place for it? Well, because we can, okay? When we make games, when we make demos, when we make this stuff that we put on the IPFS site, you can go there, check it out, the LimeWire-inspired music player, okay? Good old music, nostalgic, listening, fun, all right? When we create this stuff, we think to ourselves, what else is there, all right? And then for that brief period of time there, we're making stuff with the community. Joey's Meat Run, the Joey's Trash Pile, the idea for the crossbow schematic, okay, which was just going to be a crossbow schematic, but we wanted to make it more educational, okay, because we didn't have anything necessarily like that on the site. So now if you go to visuals, all right, go to the IPFS, all right, it's down there at the bottom of the visuals, okay, right next to the audio, okay, right next to the music player, the digital kalimba, and the Mayo Mental, okay. We do want to update Mayo Mental just because that shit's funny. You can play a jar of mayonnaise. Shove the fist in it. Okay? It's hilarious. The point is that with it being Tuesday, right, with Tuesday being on the horizon, with us knowing now as we get our feet under us, as we, figure out the direction we want to pivot and go with that of our works, not being under an NDA, not working for a company, and literally helping to lay foundation, all right, of Web3 infrastructure and working, components and apparatuses thereof, all right? Anyone else can just go to the site now, download it, run it themselves, okay? They can be its own node and, extension thereof, helps everyone else get to it sooner. That's if, it's anything that they feel like sharing. If you don't have your own site, share ours. It'd be great. That's right. And we happily take the ideas, email the channel, okay? Reach out to us on the Bluesky or on the X or the whatever, okay? Reach out to us and we'll happily make or create that of what is warranted or necessitated, okay? But as we take a pause now, all right, and know that we have some errors and some, breakdowns in code, like we said, one of the big ones is in the game Teresa's Scary Poems for Kids, okay, based on our buddy's book, okay? Now, we made 2 games for him based on a couple of his books, and he's happy and ecstatic. It bothers us as a creator and developer, even though we're doing it, pro bono and stuff like that, because he's our buddy. It bothers us that the Teresa's Scary Poems for Kids has a non-working component on it, and we don't even remember, like we said, mobile or PC, okay? So when you go to the IPFS site, if you go to play Teresa's Scary Poems for Kids, or the game based on it, okay, some of it's broken on either mobile or PC, it's not cool, all right? But our buddy's happy that Capybara Creek works, and his nieces, nephews, and such go play that, have fun with it, okay? We want to go back and fix these things that are broken, okay? Just like the in the LimeWire-inspired music player, right? In the Ember, theme, when the stick figures are dancing and the guy runs by and lights them on fire, okay? It's funny as hell. After a few times being lit on fire, they start grouping together and bunching, and you got to change the theme to separate them out, and it'll reset. But it's a breakdown in the code, right? And as an independent creator, as a programmer, right? And we don't want to go back and look into everything just to try and fix that. No, we know. We know it's a problem. So that's why we want to pause on the creating more, to go back and kind of tie up the loose ends of what's broken and, not completely working now. That's right. Something to celebrate. We want to keep making that of which better, all right? On top of that, as we have alleviated more of these dead-end links and stuff that we had as placeholders and things of that nature, now mostly all the dead-end links are in our, kind of more academic papers and things of that nature that we're not at liberty to necessarily post in the representative forms that they're in right now, but we will be, depending on decisions that are made in other forums in which we have zero control over how those of whom read, disseminate, engage with our math and our theory and, this, that, and the other, and our physics itself, okay? We can't post those on there yet because we want to cross all of our T's and dot all of our lowercase j's. You knew where we were going. Wayne's World 2 quote. getting the permit for Wayne stock. That's right. Classics. Point is that hitting pause for a sec, going back, fixing some of these issues and problems that we know of that exist or whatever is the way to go. All right. We think that we want to not only that, but upgrade some of the stuff that's on there, okay? The Mayo Mental that we made out of spite for someone, trying to bullshit us in the chat, right? Now we want to make it better, okay? When someone jokes around and, teases us and asks if Mayo is an instrument, okay? And we correlate it to South Park and, all of that therewith, well, it is now. Mayo is an instrument now. It's available on the IPFS. It's down in the, audio section, third thing down, right under the digital kalimba. But, with that being the case, it's just ridiculously funny, all right, that out of desire for someone to try and make a joke or anything like that, something can be created, all right, that's an even better joke. I mean, who don't you want to send a working link to a literal Mayo Mental, Mayo Fist-a-Jar musical simulator, right? I mean, come on. It's like, hey, and I mean, literally, it's Granny's Mayo meter, okay? You can go to the IPFS site, check it out now. Shit's hilarious, but it's not perfected, okay? We'll update it. We'll make it better. Right now, we got to fix the jar lid looks a little askew and stuff like that, and we want to kind of tweak it up and make it a little more maybe interchangeable and things like that. Maybe kind of theme it out with different types of mayonnaise or even tones of sound. Maybe mayonnaise in a jar, mayonnaise in a tub, mayonnaise in a glass. Okay, there's all sorts of ways to play with mayonnaise. All right. Again, this stuff starts as jokes. All right. This stuff starts as, hey, leprechaun, where's your pot of gold? And it ends up being, on the IPFS site, way down in Joey's trash pile, not a pot of gold, but a pot that you collect all the shit falling in the trash heap, okay? Down to even 6, 7. That's right. We got 6s and 7s falling in the game, and you catch it, all right, in the tub, oh, pot of gold. That's not a pot of gold, because let's be honest, when you call Daryl Dixon dibs on being the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, okay? There is no pot of gold that goes hand in hand there with it, okay? LOL, been here like 10 minutes. Always fun to watch you go. Well, it is always fun to watch us go when the stream ends. That's usually everyone's favorite part. But, believe you me, if we do that every time, then we'll never make ones of dollars. And when you rely on the greatness of others to go to Amazon.com or Kindle Unlimited and start a free trial subscription where you can read any of our books and we get 0.04 cents per page read, those ones of cents add up. And when that free trial's over, you just have to unsubscribe from all that fucking spam emails you're going to start getting, okay? It's a win-win for mainly us. We get 1 cent. You have to start a free trial to Kindle Unlimited and read some of our crappy books. Or read some of our good ones. We're not saying they're all crappy. That's why we wrote so many. Eventually, one of them's got to be good, right? Okay? You might want, our Nailing Kalimba. You might want Pickled Punk Philosophy. This one soaked in brine. One of our favorites. You might want Theological Philosophy. Terrific. Why hast thou forsaken me? Bless me, Father, for I will sin. Of course, Transmutating God. delectable. Don't buy this one physical, okay? This shit's expensive as hell physical. This is $250 on Amazon.com. That's right. We don't like it being that expensive, but we had to raise the price the minute that we proved our theory when we monographed lectin in this one, okay? So, but digitally it's still cheap as hell, and as well, additionally on top of that, Kindle Unlimited, you just read it on there and you don't gotta, necessarily pay anything for it. Terrific. And of course, every good philosopher, okay? We're not saying we're a good philosopher. Yes, laughter warranted, okay, fair enough. We're not saying we're a good philosopher, but every good philosopher, to even be in the conversation, okay, needs to have their own poetry book, and that of which we do, okay? That's right. We can't hide behind, the inner workings of our spirit and soul, okay, as a philosopher. You have to put it all out there on the line, okay? Philosophy is a hell of a subject because, it's all opinionated crap. Okay? Ties into everything, okay? So, that's why we write theological philosophy too, because you gotta know the inner workings of that of which, we base our foundational philosophy thereupon, okay? We're forthcoming with it all. That's why we have all of our work open, with the exception of our literary works, okay, which, yes, is, behind the paywall of, you pick up a book or whatever, help the channel out or something like that. Hooray. We don't. Amazon gets the bigger cut of it and stuff. Okay, even on our smaller books that cost $1.50. Okay, on any of the digital versions thereof or whatever. It is minor scrippins and scraps. Okay, where the foundation is, all right, and where the kickback is on any of that is that it just foundationally supports all of the other endeavors. The games that are on the IPFS gives us time to, make the demos and stuff, the LimeWire-inspired music player or whatever. It affords us an opportunity, all right, to devote a little more time, a little more appreciation, tender love and care, all right, to the literally working artifacts, demos, games that are free to play, not behind a paywall and completely, just up for grabs for anyone who wants them, okay? On top of that, take the code, Apache 2.0, we give it to everyone for free, make your own version, make it better. We're not opposed to it, okay? Do better than we do. We're going to write better poems. Hey, don't do that. We can't all be philosophers trying to edge in on becoming New York Times selling authors. We didn't say best, okay? But because, it's the one that we left in the hand here, because we want to, still working on my show. You still have a part if you want it. Give me 2 more years, probably. Well, that's fantastic that you're still working on your show. Believe you me, we're still working on ours as well. Now, you might be saying, well, we thought your show was done. And believe you me, we don't have a roof yet, okay? So, we're looking to get that fixed. That's right. But as we sit back, as we ended with our little rant to, our literary endeavors and stuff like that, on how it helps to support and fund that of the other endeavors that are offered for free, and up until, even this show will always be free, okay? We'll never put this behind a paywall or anything like that, okay? As we don't sit under an NDA right now, as we don't work for a company contractually that's inhibiting us from making any kind of additional software or demos or creations or games or tools or anything like that. We entertain all the emails that come across our plate. We entertain all of the comments that come across our Bluesky and our X of the X. Okay? All of that stuff is fair game and up for grabs and stuff like that. Okay? Where, like we said, we didn't sign no contracts or anything like that. So Shyzabox is a free agent. Okay? Something to celebrate, Internet. Believe you me, you make all sorts of fun stuff. But like we said, as we sit with, what puts us in the conversation, at least, okay, maybe not spoken well of, but in the conversation nonetheless, of a good philosopher, okay, we want to take the time now to go ahead and read one of our poems, okay? Now, it's from the book That Costs Money, It'll Be Free. So there you go. You like some part of it, okay? That way you don't have to go to Amazon.com or Kindle of the Unlimited and necessarily check out the poetry book. Read one of the other ones. Don't matter. As we venture into one of the readings, okay, for today, we want to read one of the poems that we've said a couple times, okay, but that holds a near and dear, reciprocating loop to that of our heart, okay? That's right. You might be thinking, that doesn't make a lot of sense, okay? But believe you me, just like a life cycle, just like a water cycle, or any of that, okay? Just like the cycle of a plant, okay? Seed, seedling, flower, fruit. Before you can truly dive into poetry or anything like that, obviously anyone who's familiar with, acquainted with, versed in 90s history, culture, philosophical, mindsets, you cannot just start blanketedly reading poetry into the aether. That's right. It's a dangerous thing. You must cleanse the environment and the air around you. You must eliminate any Joeyisms. That's right. You must eliminate any Joeyisms, okay, from that of your life. All right? And there's only one way to do that adheres to the 90s sitcom, the 90s movies, okay, standards of applied practical applications, okay? And believe you me, as cosmological philosophers, we've entertained, obviously, all for theoretical and philosophical entertainment purposes, we've entertained the complexities of how to get all of these negative Joeys, okay? Yeah, okay, the energies, the breakdowns in your computational code, all right, the typos in your literary works that you're aware of that exist, okay? The things of that, okay? There's only one way to inherently, before we read this poem, cleanse the atmosphere and eliminate Joey from every single component and aspect. That's right. Good old Shyzabox studied this technique from some gurus that knew how to deal with Joey or something. Don't worry about it. So now we cleanse the air here so that we can speak our poetry into the aether, okay? That's right. Without any inhibitions on it coming across in the manner that it needs to, okay? So following the standards of 90s protocol to cleanse the air. Now's 2, it takes 3, everyone knows this. 3, all right, excellent. Air's cleansed, we can read this shit now. Perfect. Gotta get Joey out of the way. Don't want him sulking around in the background or anything like that. Believe you me, if it's from Joey, it's a no-y. All right, this one's called Socrates. Again, from our literary work, available on Amazon.com and Kindle Unlimited. How poetry, cometry, how cometry, poetry. Socrates. Boss, careful, looks like hemlock. Looks right, that much is known. Next time around, don't you dare drink. Fight for love and for that of home. Let not city decide your fate. Roll over, do not do. Poison only rots the mind. Killing you throughout. Resist or don't. Poison's bad. Yes, we prefer snaps and clicks and stuff like that, but we'll accept it. It was fantastic. You love it. You want to go buy the book now. Or don't. Don't matter. That's why we read it for free. You don't got to buy anything now. You can go play the games on the IPFS site. That shit's free always. There you go. So is this show. Point is that now that we've gone through and, yes, cleansed the air and read poetry into the ether, once again, showcasing the components and abilities of our philosophicalness, okay? Because, like we said, all philosophers who claim incumbently to be need to have a poetry book. So, we put that of ours up into the realm of at least putting our name into the hat. Yes, delayed laughter, it's okay. Don't worry about it, Internet. Farewell. We'll see you later. Glad you were able to make it through the poem. Let it go with you and influence the rest of your day, as it most certainly will. That's right, for the better. But yes, farewell. We will see you on the next endeavor. But we'll take it from here and continue without you. Don't worry about it. We're good at picking up the loose pieces of our lives. That wasn't a joke. It's what we have to do on occasion, okay? Because let's be honest, even with it being Tuesday, all right, even with Tuesday being in the future on things to come, endeavors to be, anything like that, it becomes necessary, all right, to always look out for that of what you need to, most certainly, first and foremost, within that of your own life, okay? That's right. Something to celebrate. You need to always look out for that of your inherent needs first, okay? You need to make sure that you got your food and your daily bread, okay? You need to have something like shelter over your head. We're not trying to rhyme and make jokes, Internet, okay? Calm down. We know we're funny, okay? Yes, that time laughter warranted. Get it out of your system now so that we can get on with it. Okay? You need to make sure that you have drink and water to bathe so that you don't stink. We're not trying to be funny, Internet. Calm down. Okay? These aren't jokes. Okay? You got to take care of yourself first. Okay? On top of that, before you venture out into seeing, poor old Shyzabox, okay, sitting on the side of Amazon.com, Kindle Unlimited, with his poor little books, being like, someone buy Pickled Punk Philosophy, we love it. Not all the punk rockers are into philosophical stuff, right? So, you gotta peddle the other wares, peddle the other stuff to the masses of anyone who may want to, embark on it or anything like that. Maybe some folks like the more historical-minded, thinking and everything that we have included in works like The New Non-Native Species on Mankind's Origin. Huh? These works that, present this stuff, all right, are available to the degree that once you're looking after yourself first, all right, you look out for what matters to you in your life, in your psyche, in your readership, in your, followings, in your gameplay, all right, with what correlates to you best, okay? That's what we're saying. Look out for yourself first. Secondarily, anyone who needs it more than someone like Shyzabox, okay, needs it more, first and foremost, hands down, okay? Whilst we push and peddle our literary wares, all right, take care of yourself first, and those who need it more than us second. We're okay making scrippants of, peddly wares on our wares, okay? As long as we have our daily bread, all right, that's what we need, okay? We just need to meet our bases and stuff like that, and then we'll happily create and give any that we have, additionally thereof, okay? So take care of yourselves first. Those who need it more than us second, okay? Take care of those who you like and or love more than us, unlikely, but maybe, okay? Third, okay? before you venture out of reaching into the pockets of going to Amazon and being like, you know what, I think I will get a new book to read this, this week. Maybe I will go check out one of those Shyzabox books just because. I don't know. What is this pickled punk philosophy? Maybe his little palimpsests are okay. Maybe his books are okay. Maybe you'll enjoy them. Maybe you won't. They exist, and they're out there, just like the site exists and is out there, for you to embark and entertain that of which it is. So, as we finalize where we've come in today's means and ventures, as we think to ourselves, with it being Tuesday, what do we have on the horizon Tuesday? We have updates coming. We have more coming. We have finalized products coming. We have this, that, and the other coming. Okay? Are attempting to bridge the pieces that need to be picked up, assembled, put together, right? Just like the crossbow schematic educational tool demo, right? That we got up and running on the site now, right? Give it a reload. Fantastic stuff, okay? Could it be improved and better? Sure. But as a working team of one, we try and look out for ourselves first. Those who need it more than us second. Anyone that we love more than ourselves, unlikely, but a little bit more, third. And then all that piddly stuff left over, right? We reinvest right here. Okay? We bring right back here. So, as it's cyclical, as it moves, okay, around in the direction that it goes on a very regular basis, okay, we sit back, we think to ourselves, we're pretty much out of swill, so we should probably call it. So, we don't want your subscription, we want your money. Downvote the shit out of this, go to Cashapp and give us a buck. Get off our lawn!